Hey guys, today I'm going to show you on how to set up and install XCP-ng from source. The way that we're going to be doing this process is we're going to make a Debian system, which I already have here set up, and we're going to install the manager from source for XCP-ng, and we're going to connect that manager with the hypervisor so we can manage it. And we're also going to make a repository for the ISO using a NAS. In this case, we're going to use TrueNAS Scale. We're going to install this later on this tutorial, but first we're going to do the Web GUI. I have here some notes that will do the entire process straight to the point. This will be a long process. If you want an easier hypervisor to set up, I would suggest Promox. Regarding that, let's just continue with the tutorial. So first I'm going to install this process first. So I'm going to actually make this easier by just connecting on the Debian system via SSH here. So I'm going to do that right now. SSH, the IP of the system. Yes, put the password. Okay, now we're in the system and we're as root on the system. So we're just going to go over this by the steps that I have here provided. I will be leaving all these steps in the description below. So first up, we want to install these packages. Just copy that, just paste that there and wait for that to load and installed. Yes. Okay, those packages have been installed. Some other packages that we do need to install are needed to be installed separately. If we do it like this on how I do it with the first one, it's just gonna give you some issues. So now we're going to install nvm using this command below. Now we're just gonna paste that in. Okay, that's been done. Now we're going to put in also this command. This one is going to be restarting the shell. This is from another guy that I found out. I just mixed it with my own notes. So let's just put that there. Enter. Nothing's gonna happen. That's alright. Now we're actually going to download and install node.js with nvm. Just copy that, and we're going to install version 24. On the site it says version 20, but I tried with 24 and it works. Now let's just give that a few seconds. Okay, there it's installed. Now we're going to be installing yarn. Copy this. Now let's just paste that there and just continue on. Okay, we can see it installed. It's also prompting us that there's an update. You can update that, but you can just leave it like that and it will still work. Now we're going to continue on. Now we're going to clone a repository, which would be the xen-orchestra, so we can actually continue on, so we can actually get the Web GUI. Okay, there, it's cloned. Now we're actually going to build it. So for this part, we want to go into the repository, ls. We can see the xen-orchestra right there. So cd x xen-orchestra, enter there. Now you want to run two commands. You want to do yarn and just wait for that to finish installing. That will take a bit. Just fast forward. Okay, there we go. It finally finished. Now we can just continue to the next step. Now we will just copy this entire command here. Let's copy this and just continue on. Control-Shift-B. Now that that part is done, you can actually start up the service with yarn start. But in my case, I am not going to do that. I am actually going to make this into a system service, which is better because that way, whenever you start the system, the Web GUI will always be enabled on start. So that's what we're going to do. So that would be step A for this. We're actually going to make this into a service. So we're going to actually do here the service. So I'm gonna open the text editor now and continue on with the steps. Now we're here in the text editor. The service is going to be called xho-server.service. Now you just want to copy this text. Let's just put this here so I can see it better. Just gonna copy this and we're gonna paste that in there. Now Control X to exit and yes to save the settings. That's done. Now we want to reload that system. Just copy the following commands. Let's just reload this. And now let's enable the system. Okay, it created the service. Now we will start it up. It start, and now we will see the status to see if there's no errors. There shouldn't be any errors. And this is a good sign. It means that it's already loading. Now that that part is done, to access it right now, all that you need to do is find your IP of the server. In my case, it would be the one that's in this Debian system. So in my case, it would be this IP. So you just want to put that into your browser. Just copy that, open up the browser and enter here. Continue to site, and now we're there. For the user and password, the default user for this will always be admin@admin.net, and the password is admin. That's the default password that was set up from source. Admin, and you should be able to log in. Now you can just click here, let's go. And I actually not using this UI because this is still like in a process. Some features are not all here. So I'll be using this one, the XO5. And now here we actually going to do the next step, which would be to add our server. Now we're actually going to do is install the hypervisor. So we're just gonna minimize this, put this over here. And now we're actually going to install the Xen hypervisor. So I'm just going to start the system up and it's going to launch it. Now this will take some time. Okay, once you reach here, just select the key mapping you would like to use. In my case, I will use the US. Press enter to OK. Now here it's going to press OK. Now we accept the agreement. Just continue on. It does say you are booting in BioMos, but you can still use it, or you can switch it to the UI5. So I'm just gonna click OK. There's our drive. OK. It's selected. Tab. OK. We're going to use ext. OK. We're going to do the installation by local media. That's how we have it set up right now. Press OK. I always do verify installation source, so just press OK. No issues were found. Just press OK. Now in here, you're going to put in your password to log in into the host. Don't forget this. So I'm going to put in my password now. Okay. Now choose your networking. I'm just going to use IPv4. I don't want to use the other stack. Press OK. Now I am actually going to leave this as dynamic for the IP address. You can change this to static if you want to use a more complicated network setup. I'm just going to leave it like dynamic. I'm not going to use any VLANs. Okay. Now here we can specify the hostname. I am actually going to change this. So I'm just going to take that off and I'll put actually XCP-ng server. That's how I'm going to call it. For DNS, I'm going to leave that automatically unless if you want to specify. Everything else can just remain the same. Okay. Now select your time zone. In my case, it would be America. I'm just going to find here my city. Okay, I'm just gonna leave the NTP servers for local time, dynamic. Okay, and now we're actually going to install it. This part will take a bit, so I'm just gonna fast forward. Okay, and there we have it. The server already started up, so we can see here the IP that it gave it. Now you actually need to do anything else here, but you can manage other stuff here directly on the console. Now we actually want to connect this to the Web GUI that we created. Now the IP for this one is 142. Now let's go back to the Web GUI. Now in this section here, we're gonna go click Add Server. Here, I'm gonna put a label for it. This is going to be the Xen hypervisor, the address. So in my case, it would be 192. Now the username for this would be root, the password that you set up for the system. This is not the same one for the Web GUI, so don't get those mixed up. So we do actually need to enable this unauthorized certificates for this, so to allow it to connect. So now you just click here, connect, and it should pop up. And there it is. Now we can actually see here the status, the network, patches. If there's anything here, there will be some patches available, logs, advanced. Now I'm going to set up the storage for the TrueNAS, which I have here. So I'm just going to turn that on. So now we are here in the TrueNAS console setup. Now let's click install, enter. Select the 20 gig. We do need to set up a pool for this. So just click OK. Yes, we want to do that. Now let's set a password for our admin. Okay, yes, we want to do that. Now it's going to be formatting the disk. This will take a little time. I'm going to fast forward this part. Okay, the installation is successful. Now we can just shut this off. Now it's going to force it off here. I am going to remove the CD for this. I don't need this anymore. Save that. And now I can just start it up again normally. And once this starts up, it should prompt us with the menu. of the TrueNAS and the IP address on where the system is now located. Okay, there we go. There is the web user interface. It's located at that IP ending in 137. So let's just go into that IP now. Let's just leave that open. I don't need this one here. 92.68, and it was 36, right? If I'm not mistaken. Oh, 37. There, bands, proceed. Now we're here. So now the username for this would be TrueNAS_admin and the password that you put. And now that we're here, all that we need to do in this case is, first off, we're going to create a user. Now let's just add here a user. Put in your name or username, however you want to do this. This is going to put my name, TrueNAS access, select row, full admin, put in a password there. Now save that. Now we're going to create a data sheet here, but to create a data sheet, it's going to tell us to create a pool. Now I'm just gonna call this NFS drive because we're going to be using the NFS setup for this. Allow here, in my case, because it doesn't see it. So next, save and go to review. Oh wait, I forgot something here. The layout strip, this is just demonstration. Now we can go save and review, create pool. Yes, we know, continue. Okay, there we go, it's created. Now it's gonna do a data sheet here. Add data sheet. This is going to be the ISO. Now for datasheet preset, you're going to pick multi-protocol, and we want to pick NFS Share. In my case, I'm not going to use SMB. I'm just going to do NFS. Save that. And now I'll prompt you to start the service. Yes. Now in here, we need to change the permissions of this. Edit. Now we want to change it to you. Apply user there and group. Apply that recursively. Yes. I do all of them because for whatever reason I still get issues with this. So we want to enable everything. At least for this part, this is how it works for me, because every time I try to do any xen-orchestra installation and try to make a virtual machine, I get a lot of permission issued errors. So this so far is what works for me best. So save this up. If you have a different way, do share in the comments below. Now that part is done. If we go to shares, we can now see it there. So now you just want to copy this pad. Now go back to your xen-orchestra here. Now let's add a new storage. In our case here, new storage. Select the host. It will be this one here. Give this a name. ISOs in my case. Start description, my ISOs. Type NFS ISO. The server IP, in this case, it would be the 137. Now it's gonna search for it. It found it, and it should find our pad. There's the pad. Now, before we continue on, let's add the ISO. I'm just going to open here, Files, Network. Now, it's going to type in the address using NFS 2.44.192.168.65.137 and the pad and connect. Now we can see it's empty. Now I go ahead and just find the ISO where I have it located. In my case, it would be in downloads here. I'm going to use Debian for this example. I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that in there. Okay, there it is, it's pasted. Now we can just exit that. Let's create this now. Okay, there it is, it's created. It detected it. Now if you want to create a VM, we're going to go to Home, VMs, New Virtual Machine, select the pool, select the server. Now you're going to select the template. In my case, there's no Debian template, or if you use an older Windows version, in your case, you're going to have to use the template called Other Installed Media. Now I'll put here Debian. Put description, I'm just going to put here tests. CPUs, I'm going to give it 2. And for RAM, I'm going to give it 3. And now here we're going to select the ISO, which is the repository that we just added from the NFS Share. Select that. Select this. We can see it right here. Now for the network, we can actually leave this as it is. Now we're going to add this. Now I'm going to give it 35 gigabytes. And in advanced settings, you can see here if it's going to be BIOS or UEFI. I'm going to leave it at BIOS just for the demonstration of this video. Now once we are done, we just click create. Now we can see it's creating it. It's done. We go to console. And now we can see it actually started it up. If it doesn't start it up, you can just click here and we'll say start. Now we're actually going to install this. Okay guys, and there you have it. You have successfully installed the virtual machine in xen-orchestra. And that's about it, guys. So you have successfully been able to install the virtual machine, the hypervisor, connected the repository for your ISOs, and the web GUI so you can manage your system from here. Well, guys, I hope you found this guide pretty straightforward and easy to do because it does have its bugs using xen-orchestra, at least from my experience, just using it a little bit. Still do recommend if you want something easier to set up, I would go with Promox. That's more easier to set up and it's another hypervisor if you're just starting out to use a hypervisor for the first time. I'm not saying this is not a good one, it is good, but if you want more features and something more a little bit more advanced and easier to set up, then I would pick Promox just for the time being. But yeah, guys, that's it. If you have any questions, comments, just leave them in the description below. Thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one, guys. You have a good day now. Bye.